Shalom. This week we begin the fourth book of the Torah, the book of Numbers, whose real name is Sefer Bamidbar, the book of the desert or the wilderness. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Bamidbar. Having concluded the book of Vayikra, whose major focus is the service of the tabernacle, really a how-to guide, a how-to-serve God guide, we now recalibrate to the present moment. In fact, the first verse of this Torah portion, Parashat Bamidbar, first verse of the book, opens with, Hashem spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tent of meeting, on the first of the second month, in the second year after their exodus from the land of Egypt, saying, take a census of the entire assembly of the children of Israel according to their families. And indeed, this Torah portion of Bamidbar is mainly about the numbers of the children of Israel, their countings, their families, their lineage, how their family camps are to be arranged in the desert whenever they travel around the tabernacle, and the responsibilities of the Levitical families. So here we are. Hashem caused something to happen here that was unprecedented in history. As we read in Deuteronomy 4, verse 34, has any God ever come to miraculously take for himself a nation from amidst a nation? He took one nation out from amidst another nation. He removed Israel from Egypt. He set the captives free. And now, this week in Parashat Bamidbar, we join Israel as she is assembled in the desert and marching towards her ultimate freedom, her freedom based on the responsibility of serving Hashem in this world, which they're already doing, but which will ultimately reach its real goal once within the land of Israel. So now, Israel, according to her numbers, according to her families, are trekking through this wilderness surrounding the tabernacle, or rather the tabernacle, home to the Shechina, the divine presence, is their heart. The iconography communicated by this scene is staggering for a world that was, and still is, sunken in the filth of idolatry. The message broadcast here is, look, here's a nation chosen by God to serve him that lives in this world, in fact, in the wilderness, which can't get a better example of this world than that, yet, while living in this wilderness, is totally focused and centered on the reality of God in their midst, in this world totally filled with God consciousness. And the message to the world, then and now, is that it's possible to live in this world centered upon the presence of God. So the families of Israel here are a hugely important theme. We read, the children of Israel shall encamp, each man by his banner, according to the insignias of their father's household, at a distance surrounding the tent of meeting shall they camp. And we've spoken in the past about the significance of these banners, these flags, how the Midrash teaches us that they were inspired by no less than a cosmic vision of the ministering angels who descended upon Mount Sinai at the time of the giving of the Torah, who were themselves divided into camps, made distinct by their flags. These flags announce a single-mindedness and a conviction to follow the edicts of the king. How reminiscent is this deepest teaching of the beauty of the flags for the people of Israel this week, here in the land of Israel, surrounded by the flags of the state of Israel in joyful thanksgiving and celebration and acknowledgement of the wondrous kindness of God in the establishment of the state of Israel, celebrated earlier this month, and the 50th anniversary of the liberation of Jerusalem, observed and celebrated this week. Following the king into the wilderness is exactly what Israel, encamped according to her ensigns, is doing here, so beautifully recalled by the prophet Jeremiah. In the beginning of chapter 2 of his prophecy, second chapter of Jeremiah begins, the word of Hashem came to me saying, go out and call in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, thus said Hashem, I recall for you the kindness of your youth, the love of your nuptials. You followed me into the wilderness, into an unsown land. The love of your nuptials, of your wedding, refers none other than to the festival of Shavuot and the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, also in the heart of the desert. The Sinai revelation and the entering of Israel into God's covenant is likened to a wedding. But why is Israel in the wilderness now? And why did God arrange for that wedding to take place also in the wilderness? Our sages explain the significance of God arranging to give the Torah in the desert. The desert teaches us many things. It teaches us how one must strive to acquire, on a deep and lasting soul level, the attributes of the wilderness, whose very nature is conducive to Torah study and to Torah life, to the true transformative nature, the acquisition of Torah. The wilderness symbolizes modesty, lack of ego and self-centeredness, lack of self-promotion, and a willingness to live in a modest lifestyle without pursuing every comfort in order to internalize the Torah. But open up your mind in the deepest way and picture the scene. The wilderness, the desert. Desert is made of sand, dust, earth. It's the dust of the earth, reminiscent of God's promise to Abraham that his descendants would be like the dust of the earth. In fact, the Haftarah, the prophetic reading for this week's Torah portion, comes from chapter 2 of the book of Hosea and begins with the words, "And it shall be that the number of the children of Israel will be like the sand of the sea, which can neither be measured nor counted. And it will happen that in the place of their exile, where it was said to them, 'You are not my people,' it will be said to them, 'Children of the living God.'" So now, in our Torah portion, they're being counted, but Hosea says they won't be counted in the future. So, back in Genesis 18, Abraham said to God, "I am but dust and ashes." Further to the dust theme. We have two themes here in Bamidbar: families and dust. So, every day at the conclusion of the Amidah prayer, 3 times a day, we recite the words, "V'nafshi ke'afar l'chol tihir." May my soul be like dust to everyone. What is meant by that? Why do we say these words? Why do we utter, "May my soul be like dust for everyone"? Isn't that a bit extreme in the self-deprecation department? And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have self-respect. Think about the earth that we walk on. It gives forth all our sustenance, though we tread upon it. We walk all over it, yet it doesn't stop producing for us. So this prayer means we're asking Hashem that we should not be offended by anyone, that we should give to others, we should be nurturing and be unaffected, though we may be trodden upon. We should learn to nullify ourselves, to nullify our egos, which again is why Israel was in the wilderness and received the Torah in the wilderness in the first place. Now, in case your hearts are not open in the deepest way, please do so now. This whole parsha, and as we will learn, this whole book is centered around the tabernacle, the Mishkan. The Mishkan is the place of the Shechina, the divine presence. The root of the word Mishkan, tabernacle, is the same root as the word Shechina, the divine presence. Another thing about this earth that we walk upon, that's covered with sand or dust, is governed by gravity. So the Holy Rabbi Nachman talks about gravity, and he says, you know, as everyone can see, everything is on the earth, everything is on the ground, because of gravitational pull. What goes up must come down. Something can remove itself only because of some sort of interim temporary force, but when that force is removed, then the thing comes speeding back to the earth. And the closer that it's coming to the earth, the faster it goes. In Hebrew, gravitational pull is called koach mishicha, the power of pulling. And the root of the word mishicha, to draw, is the same as Shechina. The Mishkan, place of the Shechina, had gravitational pull. Koach hamoshech, to draw godliness to the place where it stood. We read in the Song of Songs, which, by the way, the whole Song of Songs is an allegory to this whole relationship, this whole wedding relationship. Song of Songs, we read the verse, "Draw me after you, and I will run." Because if you draw me after you, then whatever is being drawn in goes even faster. And the Midrash also says, another aspect of the word Mishkan, is that it is a mashkon, a deposit to Israel, a guarantee that Hashem's Shechina will always be with them, even if they sin, as it's written in Leviticus 26. "And I place my Mishkan in your midst, and my soul will not be disgusted with you." And through the Mishkan, the Shechina dwells in Israel. And Mishkan also an expression of mashcheni, pull me in, that has the power to draw godliness. So, what the tabernacle did for Israel, draw me after you, Song of Songs 1:4, we will run. What the tabernacle did, Jerusalem does forever. Jerusalem is the place of the divine presence forever. And this week's reading of the Torah portion of Bamidbar, falling in the week of Jerusalem Day, is a perfect example of the relationship between Israel and the Shechina, the divine presence forever. We recall the words of the great sage and poet, Rabbi Yehuda HaLevi, who stated, "Jerusalem will not be rebuilt until her children, the children of Israel, desire her so deeply and crave her so deeply that they literally embrace her stones and her dust." This week here in Jerusalem, we have experienced a tremendous outpouring of joy, thanksgiving, and acknowledgement of the people of Israel for the liberation and unification of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, which is the place forever of the divine presence, and Jerusalem, the rebuilt, God willing, in our time, with the light of the divine presence, the Shechina, will go out to the entire world.